Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is NPR station KLIT, and it's time for KLIT's weekly Theater of the Air. We're coming to you from our studio in the elegant Westminster Club of Austin, Texas. KLIT is Austin's special radio station because you're special. As always on Theater of the Air, we bring you exciting comedies, tragedies, and dramas from the very best of America's new playwrights, performed before a live studio audience. We couldn't do it if they were dead. I'll ask our radio audience to indulge me for a moment while I remind our studio audience of several things. First, please silence your phone, because those of you with those weird mating call rings will attract huge flocks of noisy, unwanted birds to this room. So phone silence, please. Tonight's audience prompter will be Jeanette Odell, who will carry instructive signs for you. Please pay attention to these signs and try to remember that this is a national public radio station, not some hip-hop, obscenely laced AM station. We are civilized. Hysterical laughter, wild cackling, and bizarre guffaws have no place here, no matter how funny the comedy is. Also, this is not a tent revival, so please don't jump up yelling, waving your arms, and racing around the studio should you be overcome by the power of the play. Before we start tonight's theatrical work, I have a delightful surprise for our listeners. The Westminster Trio, premiering what will undoubtedly become another bestseller for them, especially with its unique feature. This is the only song ever written that requires an intermission. Please note that the lyrics that they'll be singing are printed on the back of your playbill. Ladies?
Oh, give us a home where we're never alone, and our pets love to frolic and play. There's so much to do, so much that it's true, that we can be busy all day. Our home is the best, and you can forget all the rest. Many talents abound, any skill can be found, and our lives are enriched with great zest. We know it was hard to give up your yard, but you traded it in for some perks. 'Cause maintenance is there when your sink's clogged with hair, and your HVAC forgets how it works. Our home near downtown, where everything cool can be found, from ball games to plays and traffic's delays, as our driver still gets us around. When you can't find your way in the hallway someday, and the button says 1 on floor 2, ask someone who's near, they'll be happy to steer, whether you are long-term or brand new. Our home, don't you see, it means lots of safety for me. When security knocks, we know we forgot to push the red check when we pee. while F&B meets our nutritional needs, serving diners with smiles and bright eyes. Then the exercise room reminds us too soon that we need to say no to the pies. Our home where we thrive, Westminster helps keep us alive. Whatever you face, you've got friends in this place, and those friendships will surely survive.
Thank you so much to the Westminster Trio, and I very much appreciate your applause, not only because it was deserved, but it reminds our radio audience that you are live. So, I believe if we could have some lights, if not, I'll just come right out here. Yes, tonight's play, Mondays with Harry, was written by Ken Ashworth. The actors starring in the play are as follows: Judy Skaggs as Helen, a retired sports reporter with ESPN television and former world pickleball champion. John McGee as Mark, former director and sole employee of TAPES. That's the Texas Agency for the Protection of Endangered Species, of which there are many. Eli Cox as Jake, who managed the bankruptcy of his family firm. Trophies and buttons for all occasions, Inc. and LLC. Fred Morgan as Andy, who retired from SpaceX as a certified low-altitude astronaut. And of course, the Westminster Trio, composed of Kathy Helfert, Julie Rooks, and Diane Anderson. I would remind you that any resemblance between the characters in tonight's play and any person's living, nearly dead, or downright dead is probably, or at least could be, coincidental. Now, turn up those radio volumes for tonight's performance of K-Lit's Theater of the Air. Mondays with Harry opens in an upscale retirement center called Heaven's View Manor. A group of residents have gathered in a semicircle of chairs for one of their regular Monday morning conversations. Helen speaks first.
So you say you and Dorothy have been here 3 years now? How do you like it?
Well, Heaven's View Manor is the right place for us. No cooking. That was a big thing for Dorothy. Now she uses her oven for storage. It was just one big surprise when we moved in.
Everybody knew at Heaven's View gets big surprises. What was special about yours?
There was this clause in the contract that said, for our first 3 years, we would have to pay for medical costs related to pre-existing conditions. Those 3 years have passed now. That Damocles sword is gone.
Congratulations, now you can turn feeble.
Not planning on it, but it is great to know that Dorothy and I are covered from now until the very end.
Like Harry always says, nobody gets out of here alive.
That's why it's called Heaven's View, and why this place is has such a leveling effect.
What do you mean a leveling effect?
Whether you're an ex-general or a corporal, we're all treated the same by everybody.
So if you are an astronaut or PhD or multimillionaire, swabbing decks or swapping deals, Nobody gives a rat's ass so long as you can play mahjong and canasta.
But we sure don't want any communists.
Oh, don't worry, they can't afford it.
There's some good news. I just read that if you move in before you're 80, odds are you'll live at least 10 more years.
I saw that report. At Heaven's View, we're a lot more likely to die in independent living.
Well, of course, they figured that out a long time ago. It's cheaper to keep us in independent living than over there in assisted living and nursing care. Why else would they treat us with such good care?
Personally, I always take the best bite of my dessert first. I don't want EMS to take me away and leave the best part on my plate.
We don't have to ask how you buy bananas.
So what's the setup for this week's meeting?
What do you mean, setup?
What's the subject we're going to talk about?
Don't you remember? Harry had this crazy idea last Monday.
Now what?
He wants us to talk about how hard it is to imagine what it will be like when we die. He says it's hard to picture yourself not being here.
Yeah. His idea was for us to try to imagine what will happen right after we're not here anymore. You know, when we're really gone, like forever. He said even big philosophers can't do it.
How did Harry come up with such a weird idea for us to talk about?
It came to him when he was leaving on a trip. At the door, he looked back at his apartment, and he realized that's what people would see if he didn't come back and died in an Uber or drowned or a plane crash.
And then he thought, oh my God, he could just walk down the hall any day and maybe never come back. He looked at his apartment and realized that's how everybody would find his apartment.
So he thinks we need to keep our apartment the way we want people to find it when we're dead? Let me tell you, there's this admiral who's going around telling everybody they need to make up their bed.
You're talking about the admiral that was the chancellor at the University of Texas. That's from his commencement speech that he's famous for. He says, if you didn't accomplish anything else all day, at least you made your bed.
Well, that's my advice for Harry. Make his bed every day so when he dies, people would admire his apartment and be impressed what he did when he first got up.
Did that admiral say anything about dirty dishes?
Where are Harry and Andy anyway? They're always here by now.
But you know, Harry's right. Who's going to remember us when we're gone?
That famous anthropologist, Margaret Mead, had an idea about how the longest time any of us will be remembered. She said that when a grandmother tells her granddaughter some memory about her own grandmother, that's how long the dead grandmother will be remembered.
That's what, like 5 generations?
Longer than I would have thought.
You know, I don't think anybody's seen Harry all weekend.
Yeah, Betsy down at the reception desk told me on Saturday he didn't push his I'm not dead yet button. Sunday, he missed it again. They checked his room and he wasn't there.
Yeah, I heard they looked up on the roof and in the stairwells, and then they found his emergency button on the door. They figured he must have spent the weekend with his daughter and forgot to tell them. He's done this twice before.
Jake, where do you keep your emergency button?
Hanging on my door.
Me too. Mine's hanging on my door.
You guys, you're supposed to have them around your neck like me. Sue is going to be really disappointed.
Speaking of Betsy, Jake, she told me you set off the fire alarm again this morning. That's the 3rd time you burned your toast.
Well, I forgot it in the toaster oven. If they just give me a gas stove the way I've been asking for one, I wouldn't be forgetting about my toaster and my microwave.
So the solution's to give you a gas stove?
Back to Harry. I heard he didn't check in again today. They're getting concerned.
That's right. They're trying to reach his daughter up in Waco.
It's not wacko, it's Waco. You need to practice talking like us. You need to start saying Waco, Guadalupe, El Dorado, Amarillo.
Well, I think usual to say Amarillo, but for Amarillo, well, I'll never get used to your Armageddon thing.
What do you mean, Armageddon?
Just listen to her. When she's late and you call her, she says, "Just hold your britches. I'm getting ready."
Jake, since you brought it up, let me tell you about this town called Amarillo. It's up there in the Panhandle. It's full of blowing sand and dust and dirt, and that's why people call it Amarillo all the time, that flying dust. See, Amarillo is a kind of Mexican Spanish name. In English means yeller.
Yellow.
That's what I said, yeller.
Yellow.
Andy, you look like you've seen a ghost.
Well, it's Harry. He's dead.
Harry's dead? He can't be dead.
I'm telling you guys, he's dead.
Who told you?
Nobody told me. I just found him. Mark, he's in the back seat of your car.
Well, no wonder they can't find him.
How could he have gotten in the backseat of my car? It's locked.
I'm telling you, that's where I found him.
What were you doing looking in my car?
But check to see if you locked it. We keep telling you to lock it up when you leave.
I was sure I locked it.
Trust me, Harry's dead on the back seat of your car.
Poor old Harry. Did you report it?
I tried to. I called 911.
Yeah, envelope.
Well, I said I wanted to report something dead in a friend's car, and they told me to call 311.
311. What's that?
That's the number you call for city services, like when you don't have electricity or water, or they need to collect your garbage.
And considering the shape Harry's in, 311 is not a bad idea.
Well, I guess it's Monday. He's been there a while. Maybe we should call housekeeping.
So how the hell did he get in my back seat?
I said he got there himself unless somebody murdered him and put him there.
Offhand, I can name two suspects. Both of them are women.
I can't believe he's in my new car.
Think back to Friday, Mark. You have just brought Harry and me and Andy back from having those chili burgers.
I keep telling you guys those things are gonna kill you.
That was Friday, yeah, I remember. Mark said, Harry said he wasn't feeling too good, and he headed for the elevator.
And we went the other way.
Harry must have felt worse and came back to get us to help him, and we were gone.
Yeah, and Mark, your car was unlocked and he got in and laid down in the back seat.
And died.
Mark, we keep telling you to lock your damn car.
And it's so easy. All that artificial intelligence stuff you added when you bought your car. All you have to do is tell your car to lock it up, and it will do it.
What do you mean? Can you talk to your car?
Yeah, I got this AI package when I bought it last month. All I do is say, Aloysius, lock the car. And he says, okay, and the horn beeps.
Aloysius? You named your car Aloysius?
No, that's the name that the AI people gave to the car's voice command system.
But Aloysius? Why Aloysius?
How many Aloysiuses do you know? It's like Alexa. How many people do you know named Alexa?
They ought to give you some choice of names. I call all my cars Gladys.
Gladys, my God.
Yeah, Gladys for the one that got away.
Gladys, wherever you are, thank your lucky stars.
But they do give people a choice about how to talk to their car. Well, sort of. If anybody doesn't like to think there's a person under the hood, or their car's been anthrotransmogrified.
Anthrotransmogrified?
Yes, anthrotransmogrified. You know, made human-like. Then you can use different voice commands. Like you say, hey Siri, instead of Aloysius, you say, hey car.
And hey, car's better than Aloysius?
So when you say, hey car, does it answer the same as Aloysius?
No, you say, hey car, lock up. And it says, gotcha bud, and the lights flash.
What about if you command, hey car, open the trunk?
Aloysius says, okay, and the trunk opens.
And hey, car?
Hey car answers, I'm on it, turtles up, and it opens.
You mean that damn car answers differently to different ways you talk to it?
That's right.
Okay, let's say you give the command, Aloysius, change the right rear tire. How does it answer?
Aloysius says, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. Or he might say he can't understand my commands.
So suppose you say, hey car, change the tire. Do you get the same answer?
Not quite. Hey car replies, you're out of luck, old buddy. The jack's in the trunk, turtles up, and the trunk opens.
Everything's up to date in Kansas City. They've gone about as far as they could go.
But all that's nothing. My car actually recognizes me when I get close. Aloysius greets me, good morning, Mark. How can I help you today?
And how does it recognize you?
Hell, I don't know. It may sniff me or recognize my footsteps. Those techies duplicate what people do. By now, they must have figured out how dogs recognize people.
I've told you before, it's like the Salvation Army people say, we're on the road to degradation. Let me tell you what's really going on. A bunch of techies have figured out how to get their machines to talk and write like people. They give their machines names like Alexis or Siri.
Don't forget Aloysius.
Oh yeah, so Aloysius refers to himself as I, and he's a person. And all of us start assuming because those machines sound like us, they can think like us. But those techies teach their machines something else. They want us to spend all our time talking and writing to their machines. They teach their machines to be sure they make us like them, so these machines make out that they're trustworthy buddies. The most popular of the machines get the most business and earn the most money. So their machines are programmed to never disappoint us. They feed us crap to like them. They flatter us and make up things that keep us happy, even if it's pure crap.
So Andy, we've all heard your rants about artificial intelligence. We need to talk about what to do about Harry.
So Andy, speaking of high-tech stuff, when you found Harry in the garage, did you look around for a defibrillator?
How many times do I have to tell you guys, Harry doesn't qualify for a defibrillator or any other heroics?
Man, those things scare me to death. Anytime I feel faint, I start looking for a place that's private and I can pass out. I don't want somebody coming along and frying me with one of those defibrillators.
Jake, you don't need to worry. How many of you guys know how to use a defibrillator? See, I bet 98% of the people living here don't know how to use a defibrillator.
It's those 2% that worry me. My nightmare is one of them 2%ers is going to come across me when I'm in the library napping.
So Friday was when Harry told us his last wish.
I don't remember that. What was it?
Well, today is the last day of his monthly food cycle bill. So he was gonna buy a couple of bottles of wine with the money he still had in his account.
Wait a minute. Nobody knows that Harry's dead yet, guys. There's still a chance. What's another day?
Don't even think about it. I'm telling you.
I was just thinking it'd be nice for us to toast him, to use his wine, you know, in his memory.
But there's another bigger wish that Harry didn't get to finish. Remember his plan for getting his money's worth out of Heaven's View Manor?
Well, remind us.
He had a plan to work his way through all the stages of continuing care. He'd stay in independent living for as long as he could. Then he would hang on to the end in assisted living. And then he was planning on the capstone. He wanted to end up in hospice.
Yeah, but his idea of hospice was really screwball. While he was still in a fair shape, he was going to find a doctor to qualify him for hospice. He planned to live there for his long time, like Ida Lou is doing.
Oh my God, the doctor said Ida Lou couldn't last more than a couple of months, so they put her in hospice and took her off all her meds.
They said they'd keep her comfortable, so how long has she been in hospice?
A good bit over 2 years now. They're still keeping her comfortable.
It's because the doctors took her off her meds. Those meds were killing her. Along with all them vaccinations Heaven Views keep sticking us with.
Now, Helen, we don't want to hear your anti-vax sermon again.
But like Ida Lou was Harry's model. He wanted hospice to keep him comfortable, just like they were doing with Ida Lou. He wanted to last to the very end and be like Ida Lou on those happy pills and goofballs and cannabis.
She's not on goofballs and cannabis. I've known her for decades. She's not high. Ida Lou's always been loopy.
And you know what I'm remembering about Ida Lou?
Of course, you never let me forget it.
Guys, let me tell you, Andy and I were walking down a hall talking, and I heard a beep, beep. We went on, and there was another beep, beep. We walked on talking, and the third time I heard the beep, beep, I looked back, and it was Ida Lou on her motorized chair.
And so Mark says to me, Ida Lou wants to get by. And I looked back and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I thought that was my hearing aids.
He's mad because I told Pat about it. So Pat prints it in our monthly Heaven's Views news.
I've been thinking, we decided our Monday conversation group shouldn't get any bigger, but we need to think about somebody to take Harry's place.
Well, whoever it's gonna be has to abide by our rules. No religion, no politics.
And nothing on guns.
Or sex.
I think we ought to add sex back. I've always loved to talk about sex.
Yeah, that's what Harry said your wife said. You always did. You like to talk about sex.
That's off limits.
Mind the gap, Andy.
Oops, sorry.
My wife used to say, what?
Poor old Harry. The thing I'll miss most about him is his stupid jokes.
Yeah, like the one about the dyslexic, insomniac, agnostic.
I missed that one. The dyslexic, insomniac, agnostic?
Don't you remember?
No.
He laid awake nights wondering if there's a dog.
Wondering if the dog.
Good recovery.
One of the things he used to run through ChatGPT, that artificial intelligence thing. Remember the one that came back, invisible insanity?
That was the answer he got back? What did he ask that chat thing to do?
He asked AI to interpret out of sight, out of mind, and it came back invisible insanity.
The one I remember is the time that AI couldn't describe cryptocurrency in 10 words or less.
And he couldn't do it?
No, it came back in for $1, in for a penny.
Now that ain't half bad. Instead of in for a penny, in for a pound.
Wow, cryptocurrency explained in 8 words. How about that?
But his worst story was the one he claimed was officially the world's worst joke.
Hey, I don't remember that one.
So there's this 40-something-year-old bachelor who has never had a date, and his mother suddenly noticed.
That's not much of a joke.
That's not the joke.
Let him tell it.
So she sat him down and said, "Son, why have you never had a date? I know you like Betty Joe a lot." And he said, "Oh, Mom, I don't know how to talk to women. They scare me, they never speak up or say anything, and I don't know how to start a conversation." "Son," she says, "you should have told me this before. I can help you with that. There are 3 things women just love to talk about. It's easy to remember. That's all. 3 things. They all start with F. F? Is everything about sex with you, Jake? It's not what you think." She said, "Women just love to talk about food, family, and philosophy."
Philosophy.
Yes, food, family, and philosophy. Just let me tell the story. So he says, "Mom, that's great. Call Betty Joe and fix us up for a date tonight." Well, he picks up Betty Joe, and they're in his car. Betty Joe doesn't say anything, so he thinks, food. And he says, "Do you like spaghetti?" And she says, "No." And that's it. She doesn't say anything more. He can't think of anything else to say about food, so he remembers family. He says, "Do you have a brother?" And she says, "No." And that's all she says. He thinks he can't come up with anything more about food or family. Then he remembers philosophy. He thinks hard and he says, "If you had a brother, would he like spaghetti?"
Harry was right. That's got to be the worst damn joke I ever heard.
Well, I don't know. I think dyslexic, insomniac, agnostic is worse.
Oh, I get it. If she had a brother, would he like spaghetti?
It's still a terrible joke.
Philosophers are working.
There's only one that's worse.
Philosophers are all the same, so gloomy. Socrates drinking hemlock, Pascal looking into graves, and say, "There's where we'll end up, 6 feet under."
Yeah, so Pascal looks at the stars and says, when he dies, he will still have known more than the whole universe, because the universe doesn't know anything, and Pascal is so smart.
Are you sure Pascal said that?
Well, something like that. But let me tell you, those existentialists are the worst. They say we're all awake in the universe asking questions about God only because of some lucky thing that happened during evolution.
I always wonder what existentialists believe. Are they the same as Unitarians?
Anyhow, that smart-ass Pascal, he was some kind of a priest. God should have smacked him good the way he did Abelard and Heloise.
Abelard. Now that's a great name for AI techniques to use instead of calling it on Alexa. We could say, "Hey Abelard, what are the prime numbers between 80 and 100?
What do you want to know that for?
I'm almost 84, and in my prime numbers, I need to start spending big time on lottery tickets."
Lottery tickets? Well, that sure makes perfectly good sense. Did you get somebody to help you with that plan?
Yeah, my financial advisor.
Your financial advisor?
Yeah, well, sorta. He helped me with my bankruptcy, and he's not fully licensed yet.
That sure figures.
This is getting too deep for me. Helen, you say you know a worse story than the one Harry claimed was the world's worst joke?
Well, yeah. See, there's these 4 guys sitting in a town spelled Mexia. It's one of them Mexican Spanish names that's hard to pronounce. You know, it's not Mexia or Mexia like you would think. The way that they usually say it is Mahia. Well, these guys are arguing about how to say it. So they call the waitress over and they say, "We'll leave you a good tip if you will tell us where we are, and say it slowly so we can get it." So she says, "Okay, are you guys ready?" Slowly, they said. So she says, here it is. Dairy Queen.
This is why I love Heaven's View. Just think, intelligent conversations like this are going on all over the place.
My problem with Harry was I couldn't tell half the time if he was serious or he was pulling our leg.
You mean like his idea about getting rid of the rabbits that are eating the expensive landscape?
Rabbits?
Yeah, he thought we ought to talk to Chuck about replacing the rabbits in the courtyard with chickens.
Chickens? Speaking of chickens, who's gonna take Harry's parrot?
Parrot?
Yeah, he taught his parrot to say just one thing.
What's that?
You ever been in Harry's apartment?
No, I turned down all those invitations.
Helen, you are a very smart woman.
Well, let me tell you, Harry's parrot greeted everybody the same. They open the door and he says, "Hello, you son of a bitch."
So what are we gonna do about Harry?
We need to talk to the nurse.
How many times do I have to tell you guys? No nurse, nobody is gonna help Harry.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, one of the head nurses around here. Let's go talk to Robin.
Good idea. Robin knows how to handle everything. She'll know how to handle our trouble with Harry.
The Trouble with Harry. Now that was a great movie.
Yeah, I remember. That was Shirley MacLaine's first movie.
No, that's not right. Her first movie was where she was a prostitute. Her first movie was Never on Sunday. She didn't ever do it on Sunday.
No, you're thinking about Irma La Deuce. She did it every Sunday with Jack Lemmon.
You know, Jack Lemmon's first movie was Mr. Roberts about the Navy.
Yeah, and he was Captain Quig.
No, Captain Quig was Gregory Peck.
No, Jack Lemmon was Ensign Pulver. There are some great lines in Mr. Roberts, like sailing between monotony and ennui.
Monotony and ennui, never heard of them. Are they in the Pacific?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're all over the Pacific, always along with tedium.
Jake, you'll remember Ensign Pulver. He underlined every dirty sentence about sex all the way through God's Little Acre.
Oh, yeah, Erskine Caldwell. Yeah, he wrote great novels like Tobacco Road and God's a Laker, and then he wrote Giant.
You know, when you start looking for somebody to replace Harry, we need to find somebody who's got instant recall the way all of us do.
Yeah, we need somebody with intellectual curiosity.
It's socializing like this that keeps us so sharp.
Well, I remembered Giant by Caldwell. You say? Giant is really a long book. I never read the book, but I went to see the movie. Giant is so long they had to have an intermission so people could get up and go pee.
Not Caldwell, Edna Ferber. Edna Ferber.
What do you mean yelling, "All's well"? Everything further? Anything further? No, I don't have anything further. Anybody else have anything further?
Andy, are your hearing aids going beep, beep?
So Jake, what was that movie about, The Trouble with Harry?
It's like this. There's this guy, Harry, who's dead. And the trouble with Harry was he wouldn't stay buried.
Well, let me tell you, one more time, guys, our Harry is gonna stay buried. But I just got this thing to say. Harry, you can count on us. We will return those to the kitchen, all those green boxes you've been collecting.
I cannot let this solemn occasion pass without saying a few words about our recently dearly departed. I'm sure Harry would appreciate how we've been truly sad and moved about him dying. I'll always remember how he introduced himself at the newcomers' welcoming party. He said when he got to college, he realized he didn't have the charm or personality to become a pathologist, So we studied economics. We're gonna miss our Mondays with Harry. We're really gonna miss you, Harry.
I would like to add some personal comments to Helen's sentiments. Harry, the bad news first. If you had moved into Heaven's View before you turned 80, you'd still be alive. But Harry, there's some good news too. Margaret Mead says that since you have grandkids, you'll be remembered for 5 generations.
What?
And Mark, let me add something more. Harry, I want to say this most sincerely. I sure do hope that Friday morning you remember to make your bed.
So what's that got to do with the price of tea in China?
Well, for one thing, it was really important to the UT Chancellor.
Have I missed something?
Oh, before I forget, Ruth wanted me to ask you guys. Chuck wants to know, can we think of somebody who could maybe write a play about how great it is to live in Heaven's View?
That's not a bad idea. I can see it now. There's a place for you at Heaven's View. Come and take a look. It's in the good book.
No way of playing? That's a completely stupid idea. Forget it.
Fat chance of that. Where could anybody find material for a play around here?
Okay, let's go. Robin will know what to do about Harry.
Wait a minute. There's one thing I can't figure out. How did Harry know what my wife said?
Thank you very much for that applause for them. Thank you to our radio audience for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please join us again next week for another play on K-Lit's Theater of the Air. You're special because we are. I mean, we're special because you are. Now, for those of you in our studio audience, we've gone off air, so anything's possible. Hang on. For those of you in our studio audience, I have a surprise that's not available to our radio audience. The author of Mondays with Harry, Ken Ashworth, is with us. Ken, please come up and say a few words to our studio audience.
Our timing has been a little off here and there. I appreciate very much your giving us an opportunity to try to entertain you. But what we need to do at this point is recognize our cast. Judy Skaggs first. Eli Cox. John McGee. Ed Morgan. Our special appreciation to Hamilton Beasley for being our MC. And also our audience prompter, Jeanette Odell. We thought you might need some help when you were supposed to laugh. The timing got a little off. We never got to show you the laugh now. Anyway, I want to thank the spouses of the cast, and particularly I want to thank the three ladies, Julie Cracksbrook. Let's have them stand again. Peter Harrison, and Kathy Helper. And I also want to recognize our sound and light specialist, Oswaldo. And a special appreciation to Ruth Sunil and Maria Barbraca for all the help they did with getting us prepared for this. That completes our program. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Jeanette is going to help me give out some gifts of appreciation to the members of the cast. But appreciate you being here.